Hi everyone, welcome to Recharging with Champions. I'm your host, Charlotte Harrell. Today I am joined by two amazing real estate agents in our market. We have got Laura Schonk and Emily Davis.
Yeah, I started real estate in early 2018, so I've been an agent for, a little over 6 years. Bowling Green native, been here pretty much my whole life.
How about you, Laura?
I've been an agent for 5 years now, which seems crazy town to me.
Yeah.
We have a little bit of an edge because we are both local, so we've lived here forever and ever, and we have hundreds of friends and family members and people that just know us because we've grown up together.
And you're probably like social media friends with most of those people.
True.
Right.
True.
When it comes to social media, that's awesome. Well, I have brought these lovely ladies here because they are really good at social media in very different ways. I wanted to bring a little bit of a different perspective for agents, and as a lender, I'll give my perspective on how I do some social media as well, because I think mine is also a little bit different. You guys aren't dancing as much yet. We're going to get that to change.
If you see me dancing on social media,
Times are tough. Times are tough.
you should be concerned.
For
a lot of reasons.
Got it. So basically the big difference between the two of you, well, there's lots of differences, but Emily, you have like a professional help through your team. Mm-hmm. So I would love for you to tell us a little bit about what does your social media look like in your world?
Sure, yeah. So it did not take me very long to realize and be okay with owning the fact that social media was just not something that I was going to excel at myself. And I felt like it was a really integral part of where I wanted my business to go. So for me to say, there's definitely somebody else out there that can do this a lot better than me. There's certain parts of everybody's business that only you can own. So I wanted to capitalize on those parts and outsource the parts that I knew I was not going to own well. So I do have part-time help that she is 1000% a creative and I am not either. And so that it's been a game changer for me to be able to put that in somebody's hands that knows the vision I have for my business, but also she knows my heart. Like, she knows me as a person. So I trust how she portrays me in a lot of things too. So that's important to me as well.
So you have a professional service, but you didn't get one that was like a national service. It was really somebody local that you could kind of get that jive with.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Absolutely.
Great advice.
Yep.
Very cool.
Absolutely.
Right. How about you, Laura?
And then there's me.
Yeah.
So to say there's a method to my madness would be a stretch.
Okay, all right. The method is chaos.
The method is chaos.
Okay.
And my life is chaos. And one thing that I'm never going to deviate from with my social media is authenticity. Okay. And if I have like a schedule that I follow all the time, it's not going to feel or seem authentic because it's not. It's just not my life. I've got young kids. I have a child with severe autism. We're in the car all the time. We're running all the time. I keep as good of a schedule for our life as I can. I have no capacity for schedule for social media.
Right.
But I think that anyone who's in a relationship business knows if you are not capitalizing with social media as a core piece of your business, it's free.
It's free.
Right. And we're in a time where people don't just want to hear about your business. Like, you have to story tell. Like, that's what we do all the time. Mm-hmm. And if you are storytelling on social, you're in their pocket all the time.
So you basically use what's going on in your life at the time.
Yes.
And just if you've got a story to tell, you just use that time to go out there and push your story.
And the rule that we heard for so long was that your social media needs to be 80% real estate, 20% your real life. Right. I have let that go to the wayside because things got stale in real estate for a while because we were singing the same song every single day. Rates are high, rates are high, rates. Everybody knew rates were high.
Right.
We didn't need to talk about that.
Sure.
But you know what they do want to see? They love to see me put up the world's worst wallpaper in my bathroom.
Right.
And comments,
which is still home related. Right?
It is.
Yeah.
You know what it is.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing.
I've actually noticed that most of you may not even realize that, but a lot of your content is things about your home or things that you're doing at your home. You really bring the fact that as an agent, you guys are selling a home, not just a house, right? And yet that is kind of into your real estate or into your social media marketing. Very cool. Tell me how you got started in social media. What did it look like just at the very beginning? How did you start doing your social media? Did you just like creep in a little bit, or did you just like, you know what, I got to do this. I'm all in. How did it look?
I would say mine was like kind of a creep because I felt so like it was just a slow crawl to start because I was just so not knowledgeable. And it was very sporadic, but like to Laura's point, I love that like analogy because for me, when things are chaotic, that doesn't feel like me. So like I didn't have a schedule. I wasn't educated on like how to reach people better, or reels versus post, and using Canva and things like that like for me, I knew that I had to get educated on those things or get someone that was educated,
right?
Because structure feels good to me. Sure. And I just didn't have it. That was my biggest clue, that I had to go outsource because there just was not any structure, and that was a lack of knowledge.
Right.
But so for me, it was very like, I'm just kind of dipping my toe in because this is just not my thing. I don't really feel comfortable with it. It's a lot easier for me to cast my vision to somebody else and then say, yes, I like that, or no, I don't.
Right.
Then like, I feel like you're such a creative and you're able to like bring the vision to life yourself. And that's just not
right.
That's
you got to know
me.
yourself, right?
Yeah.
Know where you have the idea. You just need somebody to kind of go out there to.
Sure.
That's
For
awesome.
sure.
So you tiptoed in. How soon after you started tiptoeing did you recognize, I need to hire somebody to help with this?
Yeah. I mean, just like anybody else, I had social media when I started in 2018. I would say been maybe 3 years since I've had like actual scheduled good help, probably something like that. I probably really worked at it myself maybe a year or two before that. Okay. So I would say probably my first year I didn't really pay much attention to it. Okay. Maybe 2019, 2020, I kind of was like, oh yeah, there's something to this. I feel like 2020
there was that bump because everybody was at home. So it's like, we're not seeing you guys in real life. So
right.
I think that's when TikTok and Reels and everybody really took off. Yeah,
absolutely.
That
so a couple years for me probably.
Yeah, awesome. All right, how about you?
So I was obsessed with social media long before real estate happened for me. Okay. So before I got my real estate license, I did custom pretty cookies. And I had built a following off of cookies. And if anybody follows me, my handle on Instagram is Hey Cookies and Closings.
Oh, cute.
And so I had built this following off of cookies.
Right.
And then I pulled back from cookies and went all in with real estate, and I was ready to change it up, and I wasn't sure if I should just piggyback off that and keep running, or if I should totally ditch the cookies and just do a hard pivot. Right. And it took a while for me to decide what to do. And actually I talked to Tony about it a lot. Tony Wynn, who has got me started in real estate, got Emily started in real estate. Tony was like, do not back away from that. Like, you need to hang on tight and just let it spin and see what happens.
This is an opportunity.
Absolutely. And so it scared me at first because I lost a lot of followers at first because I wasn't doing cookies anymore. And I still don't have a big following. I have like 3,000 followers. But I don't care if you follow me if you're in Atlanta. Right. I don't care.
You're really looking for that.
I am hyper local. If you live here in and around Bowling Green, Franklin, Scottsville, all of it. Right. Cool. Let's follow each other for real estate. Yeah. And honestly, I don't really want people to follow me for real estate stuff that's in a totally different market anyway, because it's not really applicable.
It doesn't match to them.
It doesn't match. It doesn't match. But anyway, so that's kind of how it started for me and how it's grown and it's changed.
I love that. That brought up something that I would say is super true, and I try to teach my team is you've got Facebook and you've got Instagram and you've got your followers, and with Reels especially, or TikTok, you really are going out to that general mass, but really what my goal is when I'm doing this social media, and you all might feel the same, is most of my clients in my sphere do follow me. So I'm more interested in my followers watching me than I am the strangers. And that's a little opposite to what your typical creator is. Your typical creator is get 1 million views. Well, I mean, while 1 million views is going to help my followers see me because the algorithm is the algorithm, the bottom line is I just want to remind my sphere on the daily. Remind them, I am here, I am fun, remember why you used me in the first place, remember why you refer to me in the first place, and I really use that, and I try to really say that. So it sounds like in your businesses it's similar.
100%. And we're both the same in that the core of our business is repeat business and referrals from past business. Right. People are like so much more likely to share your profile with a friend that happened to mention at lunch yesterday that they're probably going to sell their house than they are to call them and be like, hey, you said yesterday you're thinking about selling your house. I want you to call my friend Laura.
That is it. That's exactly right. And that's what I've seen. Have you seen the same thing?
Yeah, one of the things that Autumn, she's who helps me with my social media, one of the things that she's really challenged my thinking on, kind of like you said before, like being obsessed with social media before real estate, it was always just how many people can you reach and how many people can you get into your world?
Right.
But she's really challenged me to go deeper, not wider.
Right.
So one of the questions she's always asking me is who specifically, like an avatar, who are we
Right.
trying to reach? Like, let's get really specific. Let's stop trying to reach 5,000 people.
Right.
And let's reach 500 people that are your 100% ideal client.
Right. Right.
And I think that's such a shift because it is like, can I reach 10,000 people with this reel? And then maybe I'll get one of them. But it's like, let's quit going wide. Let's go deep. Let's get specific about
Right.
who we're trying to get to, which for us, I know, not everyone, but for us, it's sphere, past clients, and repeat business.
Right,
So
that's it. And if you are going to strangers, I love the idea, and somebody said this and it resonated, and I can't remember, forgive whoever said this in some event that I went to. They said you want to reach the people that are going to be attracted to your style.
Yeah.
So you must be authentic. So it's really important. Like, I'll have people come to me, they're like, I want to do what you do on social, and I'm like, I know you. That is, you're not dancing.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
this is not authentic
Right.
to you. Like,
Sure.
Emily, you recognized immediately, that's not
Not
me.
me.
But the truth of the matter is, people come and work with me, or my clients have come to me because of my authentic self.
Sure.
Same for you all. And we're very different. You are
Right.
very different from your other good competitors.
Absolutely. The tracks of social media are so wide, and they are just multiplying every day.
Right.
Because I feel like when it got big, everybody wanted to be an influencer.
Right.
And
right.
we want to have millions of followers. Guess what? I had a reel once that was real estate related. It got
Yeah.
4.5 million views.
Yeah.
Guess how many houses I sold off of that?
Right.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But in the beginning, it was so followers, get that blue
Right.
check mark. It was just like an obsession for
Right,
people.
right.
And it's never been that for me. And I'm so glad, because I would be sorely disappointed.
right. And you have to look more at what you're attracting.
Sure.
So, can you all speak, and we didn't talk about this, I'm going to catch you off guard on this a little bit, but when you are being your authentic self on your social media, so you know your clients and what you're looking for. I don't want to say what you're looking for, but we want to work with people that like our style, because typically we're going to have a more enjoyable experience. How do you do that in your social media? So just give me a couple examples of some of the things that you do to show your authentic self, because you guys are very different in personalities. So I love this. It's going to give two perspectives. I dance. So there you go. That was easy.
Once again, I do not dance. Don't follow me for dancing. Anyway, don't follow me for that. Oh my gosh. This is so good, because Autumn and I actually, the last time we met, we had a conversation about this, and her and I, we nailed down 3 words to kind of describe. It was homes, health, and hustle. And so from there, she was like, okay, give me maybe 5 or 6 words that you want. All of our content has to fit in one of these buckets.
Right.
So for me, it was things like the hustle for me is like the daily grind,
Right. Yeah.
it's, your motivational type things, like we were talking about books, like motivational quotes, scripture, things like that. Health, for me, that's mental, physical, and spiritual, but you see a lot of fitness content, a lot of nutrition content
Sure.
for me, because I want to attract those kind of people
That's
too.
what you've got.
you
Yeah,
know?
people that see that same
Yeah.
value system, right?
Yeah, and then obviously homes, like you said, it used to be 80-20, homes or real estate and personal. I don't follow that rule
Nope.
at all, not even
Yeah.
close. I feel like, I don't really know what the measure of success is, but I feel like it's been wildly more successful to attract the right people when that ratio is very different.
Or at least
So,
more fun.
Right.
Yeah.
And the reality is, if it's something that we enjoy doing, we're going to do it better and
Yes,
more of it.
absolutely.
So don't do something you absolutely hate.
Right.
right?
Right.
It's not going to last long.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's been kind of like the niche thing with your people, but for me, it's been figuring out what are the things that are important to me? How do I push those out to other people? And how do we get every piece of content that we do? If it doesn't fit into one of the buckets, it doesn't get included.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's very specific, and that's something that I think I could take that. That's great, because I know my buckets.
Yeah.
But how cool would it be to make sure that we have that? So how about you? What
Right.
are some things that you do
I
to
love how
attract
this
it?
conversation is flowing so good, because I too remember kind of hitting a point of, everybody's talking about, and when I say everybody, I mean like all the how to be a perfect social media master coaches, or like you have to find your niche market. What's your niche market? And I always thought, that doesn't apply to me. If you're going to buy or sell a house, you're my niche market.
Right.
No,
Wrong.
wrong.
Right.
The first thing I say to people when I meet with them for a buyer consult or a seller consult is, I'm a lot.
Yeah.
And you know that in like the first 20 seconds that you meet me.
Sure.
And there are some people that are like,
Yeah. Right.
yeah, you're a lot. I'm gonna, you know what? It's been great.
Right.
But I'm gonna go find somebody else. Or there's people that are really not a lot,
Right.
but love to be
They
around
need your
people
energy.
that are.
Right.
Yes.
They need that.
Yes. So not only is it people that they know already because they see on social.
Right.
This is a lot. My hair's on fire. Someone's screaming in the background, but everything's fine.
Everything's fine. I got this.
Everything's fine. So if that doesn't turn you off, then I'm
Right.
probably not going to turn you off either.
Right.
But then also a lot of my chaos comes from the fact that I am a mom
Right.
with young kids.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to make it happen at
But like people
best
love
I
that.
can.
They're
Yeah.
like, this girl's out here hustling and selling houses, but
They-
she's got like 50
They
other things
do.
going on.
They
love it.
do love that.
Right.
They do
They
love
love
that. But not everybody does.
Right, no.
And that was when I was like, okay, because truly my niche client is a family.
Right.
Typically a family that's going from one house to the next house. Because
Right.
you know what happens in between there? Chaos.
Chaos, 'cause
You
you
give
gotta
it to me
sell
'cause
one.
I love it.
Yeah,
It's
right.
weird.
Right.
I know. It's
But that's
weird.
what it is.
It is.
And I think that if we attract that right person, one, it's going to be it's not a sell anymore.
Right.
It's just that we are in line. We are vibing, as the young kids say now.
Yep.
I'm such a boomer.
I love it.
So when you get that vibe though, and you're on that same vibe, it just makes an easier transaction for everybody. It's not
Absolutely.
forced. It's when it's forced that it goes badly for everybody involved. There's a better person for that person.
For sure.
And I'm an amazing lender, but there's a better person if you need. There's a Wade Browning that can do the very much opposite of me. If you want a lot, you got the me.
And
If
can
you
I just
want
say, like, what a peaceful place to be in your business to be able to say that.
right.
Like, that was
Yeah.
just a recent, I don't know about for you, but
Yes.
that was a recent arrival for me. Like, it's okay. Like, sometimes when I'm with somebody, I'm like, you're fantastic, love your soul, but we're not a good match. And
Right.
like, I want you to have your good match, so let's go find it, and
Yeah.
it's not me.
That
Like,
doesn't make you a bad person or me a bad person. We just
Yeah.
we live
We
on
just
different
don't-
wavelengths. We
yes.
gotta get you on the
Peaceful place to
wavelength.
be.
Yes.
Love it. So
I think of music, there's
Yeah.
wavelengths in music. You want the smooth. This is not fun.
It's
it
not
sounds
fun.
really bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? That's it. All right. So let's move into, and this should be fun.
I'm scared.
Some obstacles. So when you started doing social media, or maybe as you were like really starting to do it more heavily, what are some of the obstacles that you really had, and what did you do to overcome them, or what are you doing to overcome them? I know it's always a work in progress.
Yeah, I think for me it was two big things. Number one, it was having vision, and number two, it was being creative or being overwhelmed by creativity. So with having vision, like, I've just never really been a dreamer. Like, that's just not in my personality. I'm very like, let's do what we need to do today. Let's check it off. Let's go to tomorrow. So like being like giving myself the freedom to be like, you can build any business you want. Like, that's something Tony's always said to me. Like, you can literally build this and do whatever you want with it. Like, have fun with it. And at first, to me, that was like traumatizing.
Like,
I was
overwhelming.
There's so many options. I don't know what to do. This is
Right.
crazy. So being able to, a thing that helped me with that a lot was market research. Like,
Okay.
just looking at other people and pulling a little from here and a little from here and a little from here, instead of feeling like I had to create it in my own mind.
Yeah.
And then for me, the other thing was creative. Like, I'm not going to come up with it on my own, but like Autumn does a fantastic job of, hey, here's what I'm thinking, here's the different options, and I can say, now she's trained me, God love her,
Right.
she's a saint, but I can say now, like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, and then she runs with it.
And it goes.
And that's so much more manageable for me. Like, I have enough vision to say yes or no to things, but I can't create it from scratch.
Right.
But looking at other people, one thing that she often asks me to do is send me accounts that you like, or you feel like, I like this vibe, I like the aesthetic, I like everything, not just the colors but the content, what are their reels talking about, that kind of thing.
Right.
So that helps me too, just to be able to get out there and kind of pull from other people, because I'm not a start from scratch person. That's way
Right.
too much for me.
And that's not what TikTok and Reels really is about, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is all about finding something and
Yes.
copying it.
Yes.
That's pretty much what it's
Yeah.
the entire basis of Reels. Thus the trends.
That's the trend.
Right.
That's the trend.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I guess for me, probably making sure you don't get in your own head is big. And again, back to when I was on the wing crew, like, one of our guys, Ezra, would work with us, and he would know exactly what your number was for every agent on the crew that was willing to go on camera. He
Right.
knew if you've done it 3 times, your number is 3, Laura. If you've done it 3 times and we don't get through this, you're out, because I know you're just going to slide down. And he was always right.
Right.
But you learn that about yourself.
Right.
You learn that about yourself
What
as
you can do.
as you go on. Like, if I know that I've done something 3 times and every time I watch it, I'm like, that's stupid, forget it. I just ditch it for the day.
Oh, that's interesting.
I just
so if
table
you
it.
what you're saying here, I want to get this because I
Yes.
do not do this, so this might be good information. You're doing something, you've recorded it 3 times.
Yeah.
and it's just not going good, you
Right.
ditch the idea because there's something wrong with the idea.
Right, because you get so in your own head that you're never going to get through
Now,
it.
do you come back to it later?
No, I
No.
usually ditch the idea.
You
I'll
ditch
put it on a Post-it and I'll
Okay.
stick it on my desk. And if
All
it's
right.
not singing to me within the next couple days, I just ditch it. Because
I love this.
if you do it and you're like, no, that's stupid, it's because it's inauthentic.
It's because it's not.
And then people are going to feel that from
And
you.
people
Right.
feel that.
Okay.
People feel that.
for sure.
Like, yeah, and like my husband is my worst critic.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
But I ask him to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And sometimes I'll film something and he's like, yeah, it's fine. I'm like, lies.
Yeah, I can
You
do
think
it.
it's stupid.
You can do it
You
also.
think it's stupid. And he's like, I don't really understand it. But also Scott is like not a big social media
Right,
consumer.
right,
So
right.
sometimes it's a trend and he's like, that is so dumb. I'm like, listen, it's a trend.
It's a trend.
You have to trust me. There's like
Yeah.
5 million people that did this yesterday. You
love
have
it.
to trust me.
It's just out there right now. That's really good. And also, my kids are my biggest critic. My husband's like, everything's great. Everything's great.
Yeah.
Right? Man, my kids, they're quick. Now I have to decipher which part is that just because they're mortified that their mother is dancing on
Right.
camera, or is it because it really wasn't bad? Actually, one of my children has some pretty good feedback. He'll give me some. He would like me to be extremely edgy. Not happening. That would not be authentic. I am not an edgy person. I'm not trying to draw drama, but he has some good feedback. That's very cool. All right, so right now, the worst thing that's ever happened on social media. What's your biggest regret? Tell the story. What post did you make that you're like, oh, that was the worst? I know mine. Mine's really easy. I can just start.
Well, go.
I was
can
going to say,
tell
I'm not even bold enough to put
Tell
something out
us.
there like that.
I spent a lot of time recreating the fancy like into FHA. Did you guys see this one?
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, so I tried really hard and I wrote the lyrics. I wrote lyrics to this song, and then I spent 2 weeks trying to get somebody to sing it because my voice is atrocious. I'm not tone deaf, but I have no voice.
Okay.
Could not get anybody singing. I'm like, I have worked too hard on this.
You sang
I
it.
should have listened to
just
you
let it go.
because I
2
sang
weeks
it.
is way too long.
Way too long.
2 weeks way too long.
Way too long.
I mean, I had my video done. I was ready.
Yeah.
And I sang it myself. And girls, I should not have sang it myself.
You were not ready for the haterade, were you?
I didn't get haterade. It didn't get many views.
Oh, okay.
But for all the work, that's the thing. It's like one of those things that you put all this work into it. I wrote the stinking
And then you get like
lyrics
3 likes, and you're like,
to FHA be like, right? You know.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
it was
God.
bad. And then, you know, if it was somebody else singing, it may have been kind of cute. But now it's one of those that I hear it, I'm like, oh, okay. What was I thinking?
We're done. We scrapped
What was I doing? What was I
But
doing?
it's out there.
Oh, it's
It's
out
out
there.
there.
It's
There's
out there
nothing
for
you
the
can
universe
do.
to hate.
There's
You are more
nothing
than
you
welcome
can
to
do.
hate.
There's
I'm
nothing you can do.
fully aware that that is possibly the worst. I mean, it's the worst thing I've made. Yeah, I would dance 10 times over rather than sing instead of that. That is, and I have some good singers on my team. I would just like to say it's your fault for not singing.
Somebody
guys.
should have stepped up.
Somebody should
Somebody
have
should
stepped
have
Someone.
stepped
We
up.
all
Yeah.
agree that someone has.
A
but we're
couple.
not-
There's
yeah,
a couple
we're
of
not
them.
even
I
gonna
have
say
some
that.
great voices. Not me. All right. So what'd you think
Okay, I
of?
don't know that I have a story like
Oh, that's
that.
impressive.
I do.
Oh.
I do.
Go, go, go.
So something that I do a lot of is commenting on posts that are getting major traction from like the home influencers.
Yeah.
You got to be so careful.
Oh.
Those people's followers are
Vicious.
ruthless,
Oh,
vicious,
okay.
vicious.
Okay.
So I follow someone on Instagram, and she and her husband did a really funny reel, and it was about, hey, like decorating up your starter home, not knowing it's your forever home, because you know that's a big conversation right now. A lot of
Right,
people are
sure.
not willing to let go of their low interest rate if they have a house that's going to work for them forever.
Right.
And I commented on it, and people realized from my handle
Tag,
that I'm a
uh-huh.
real estate agent. They came at me with daggers. She
Oh.
messaged me and she was like, "Girl, welcome to the show." They were like, "You realtors, rah!" Because people are so angry, and you have to be
Right.
careful when you get it, because it's one thing to get a conversation started.
Right.
It's another
To go down a wormhole.
to do it on social, because if you say one thing and one person comes at you with a comment that a lot of other people can relate to, you know, there's so many people out there that are following and commenting just to stir the pot.
Oh yeah.
Just to stir the pot. But it went on
Right.
for weeks, and I would get like hundreds of notifications a day, and I'm like,
not the good kind of notifications.
yeah, so the influencer, I'm like, hey girl, hey, can you turn the comments off to that? She's like, girl, we got like 16 million comments. I'm like, I don't want them.
I'm like really really done. I'm like really done. So your viral moment was not fun.
Well, yeah, that was one of the viral moments that was not fun.
Not fun.
Not
That's
fun.
too funny.
Yeah, a lot of them are really not fun because they don't really turn into anything.
Yeah.
Like, is it cool to go viral once or twice? Sure, but what's the gain in real life?
Yeah.
Right. Not really.
Because it's not real life.
No.
And like you said before, even when you go viral on something, chances are you're getting a bunch of followers that aren't even local, which,
right.
And
okay, cool,
again,
whatever, but it's like, is that really serving the purpose?
Right. If I was selling like a guide of how to make a fool of yourself on social media being a real estate agent, and I made $10 for every person that gives me a follow, probably not. Yeah. I'm just not on board for that. Maybe someday. Right now, I'm just trying to focus on the bigger picture. But
I think we've said this so many times. I just want to come back to it. Both of you have said to know what that bigger picture looks like, to take a moment. So if you're thinking about getting into social media reels, number one, be authentic. So if you are that type A and you are I want everything exactly right, then project that in your social media. Make sure that your social media speaks to you when it comes to what your authentic self is. Number two, take a second and get the bird's eye view. What do you want out of your social media? Is your social media to try to get 1 million likes and follows? Mm-hmm. Or is your social media to make sure that all of your past clients, all of your sphere are always reminded that you do real estate, you do it well, whatever that looks like?
Well, like a great question that Autumn asked me, she was in marketing, so she just gets it, like I don't. But one of her questions was, if somebody comes to your profile within the first 5 seconds, what do you want them to know about you?
Yes.
I mean, literally they're there and they're probably gone. If they're there for 10 seconds, you're like,
right.
You're killing it. Like, they're into you, you know?
Right.
So it's like, if they're there for 3 to 5 seconds, like it's got to be 2 or 3 things that they're like,
and it's something you do so well. I can
don't.
remember the day that you changed your profile.
Yeah.
Like, it just
just
works.
stuff like that it has to be quick, it's got to be catchy, but it's like whatever they catch it first, it's got to be it's got to be like it's got to be your top 2 or 3 buckets, because if not, you know.
I love that you're saying this.
You're
May I
catching the wrong
plug?
people.
We actually have Coach Tanya coming on in a couple weeks, and her specialty, what you're saying there is your core values.
Yeah,
that's it, right?
Absolutely.
So you need to make sure, so that you're authentic, you need to know your top 3 to 5 core values.
Yep.
Make sure that you have those, and make sure that's what people are seeing when they come to your page. So just FYI, we do have somebody that's going to come on. She does a fantastic job of teaching you how to narrow down, because
it's hard.
That's hard.
Yeah.
I like all of the core values. Like, I got that list of, the 250 core values. I'm like, I value all of them.
Yeah.
But do I really?
Did you go through a process with Autumn to find your 3 buckets?
But it was like her pulling it out of me. It was like, okay, describe yourself in so many words. Okay, can we group any of these together?
Yeah.
Okay, describe this part. Make this one go into 5 buckets, and then take this one, and it's like.
And then you have to compare, which one means more than this one?
Yeah.
Which one would you be more upset with? Yeah, I love it.
So then we went through okay, let's talk about this kind of post. Like we said, does this fit into one of these? And then let's talk about this kind of post. Where would this fit? Or this doesn't really fit anywhere. So either our buckets are wrong, or we're going to get rid of this type of content, So.
And you're doing that on a very micromanaged level, because that is your type.
Sure.
You're probably just doing it once you know it, you're just kind of, when I'm doing it authentically, I'm only going to do it when it's authentic. And so it's going to speak to those buckets automatically.
Right.
And that's great.
Right.
And I have to do a little bit of both, because I am definitely right in the middle. Naturally, I lean much more to the chaos, but then I have these goals. I'm very goal driven.
Sure.
So then I have this, I want to post this many times a week.
Right.
I'm going to post this many times a week, which you said that. Sometimes when you get into that, you have to be a little bit more of a micromanager to make sure that you are not recording yourself singing horrible country songs, right? Just to get that extra
idea
post.
Was good.
The idea was possibly
The idea was good.
Maybe. It was a trending song at the time. At least we had.
It's better than ideas I've come up with, which are none. So, good.
And that's very good. So I think everything that we have said is so applicable for all the different people getting started in this. Know yourself. Know if this is something you need to do it alone. If you're cool and that's authentic to you, do it alone. Just start with the big picture and know what your goal is, and be authentic. I love that authentic is whatever that looks like. Guys, this has been fantastic. I do have 2 questions I ask all of my guests. Well, when I remember, as you can imagine, I am not the perfect, so it doesn't get on all my podcasts, but we try real hard. So what is your favorite tech tool? This could be an app on your phone. It could be something you do on your computer. It could be something you do in Canva. I know we're all probably big Canva users. What's your favorite tech tool that you use to help grow or brand your business? We'll start with that.
It's like kind of generic for me because other than the apps themselves, I'm not really doing much. So I guess I'm going to speak for Autumn and say probably Canva. I think she does more than the majority. We even did like, resources have kind of been like a goal of mine, like creating free resources for people. We did all that through Canva. So
yeah, that's awesome.
I would say Canva.
Is she doing her video editing in Canva as well? Like is she editing
a lot of times? Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't realize that video editing or just kind of making some kind of a template is there in Canva. That's great.
Yeah.
How about you?
Mine's even more generic than yours because mine is just Instagram.
Oh, okay.
You can do everything in
really
Instagram.
Right,
and there's so many of these apps and CapCut and all the things.
Right.
And when all of that started to gain traction, I was like, okay,
what do I do?
I have to do one of these things because someone somewhere says that I do. But you can do it all in Instagram. You really can. You really can.
It doesn't take everything.
It's better to keep it all in there anyway because when the glitch gets to glitching, it's safe in there.
Right.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. That's very good. All right, very cool. Next question. What is your favorite book? It does not have to be work related, but it can be. What is your favorite book?
I'll do like This Season of Life. Probably not my favorite all-time book, but Relentless by Tim Grover. It's just like a mindset, a mental improvement.
Haven't read that one. We got to put it on the list.
Yeah.
Relentless by Tom Grover?
Tim Grover.
Tim Grover.
Yep.
Awesome. Very good.
The ruthless elimination of hurry. I know.
Jimmy
I'm
Black.
I'm not finished with it right now, but like
that should be mine. That is my all-time.
we are in this time of hustle.
Right.
You're not hustling hard enough. She's hustling harder than you. She sees you. She sees you not hustling as hard as her. And like, here's the thing. Like, if you are hurrying all the time, you are missing out on your whole life. You are missing out on days in your marriage, and you only get this one.
That's right.
You're missing out on your kid's childhood, and you only get this one.
Right.
And you're missing out on your own sanity, and even that comes and goes.
Right.
You gotta catch that when you can.
You gotta catch that one.
Don't fail. That's it. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it was talking about how can you make your life feel like it's longer. And the hurry sickness was the opposite of that. It is when you take time and really make the moments big, like even make small moments big, because memory is what makes life feel longer.
Yes.
So you know how sometimes it just something feels like it's longer. So the bigger the memory, the longer the life. And if we're hustling, if we have hustle sickness,
right,
that kills it. It's great. Awesome. Guys, thank you so much. This
Thanks
was
for
so
having
easy.
us.
I want you back again.
Love it.
We'll do this again. Thank you guys. And
Appreciate
again,
it.
this is Recharging with Champions. Please join us next week. We'll have another episode for you, and it's all about tech tools next week. We'll see you then.